Okay, everybody, I'm going to call this meeting to order. We're running a couple of minutes late here. Can I have a quick roll call on who's here?
Malcolm White, present.
Okay. Malcolm, Sandy.
Sandy Slavin's here.
Okay, Jim Gibberti is here. Donna and Peter are still trying to get in.
And we're, just for the record, we're opening the meeting at 6:40.
Okay,
I have reviewed the minutes of December 10th, and I submit a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Mac, you want to second that?
I will second that. Thank you, Sandy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
300.
Yes, ma'am.
I will come in and sign the paperwork tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Weston and Sampson proposal for on-call and emergency services with the wastewater pump stations. This is a renewal. We have the schedule of pricing on the third page in here.
I make a motion, we approve the renewal of the on-call and emergency services for the wastewater pump stations from Weston and Sampson.
Nothing new there, right?
No, there is nothing new. The only new part is the addendum. We'll probably get to that in a second, but nothing new on this.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, well, I'll second that based on that recommendation.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's 300. And then we have another Weston and Sampson. This is for emergency staffing.
That's correct. As COVID continues to rear its ugly head and staffing becomes an issue and replacement is difficult, this allows us to bring in licensed operators to staff the facility to meet our requirements under our permit from the EPA and the DEP. We had talked about this a while back when the town gave us permission to work with Weston and Sampson to hire operators because we're having a shortage of staff due to COVID. This just crystallizes that, and we're adding it in. So as we fight through the remainder of the year, hopefully COVID gets better and staffing becomes pretty consistent. This just crystallizes for a longer period of time. We haven't used it yet, but it's a tool that will be in our toolbox if needed. So I'm recommending to the board.
I make a motion, we approve the emergency staffing contract with Weston and Sampson. And excuse me, Molly. Go away. That's not gonna work.
You know, you look much better that way, Sandy.
Thank you. We need a
Is that it?
second.
Yeah, that's Mac. Mac,
I'll second that.
Okay.
okay, all in favor?
That cat back? Jesus.
Is the cat voting?
Hey,
All in favor?
if I put my dog on, will the cat move? Aye.
Aye.
300.
Yes.
Now we got the Heinz Field pump station for the forced main evaluation. Amendment number 1. Now, this is for $102,000.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we have a contract in place presently for $102,000. All we're doing is changing some tasks. Instead of using the ball that we proposed to send down the entire line, we're just going to take the 5 high points and cut out coupons, send the coupons in for analysis. And we believe we'll get equal amount of information, less time. And the ball has to travel quite a distance and come up inside the plant and would have to go fish for it inside the box. And we had a little fear about that. So we're just changing the scope of the contract. The money stays the same. The time frame stays the same. The only thing we're changing is a task, what we're going to do.
Okay, so all we're really voting on here now is the task change.
Yes, sir.
We've already approved the other.
That is correct.
Okay.
All right. Well, I make a motion to change the task.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
300. I kind of thought this was. Okay. Now, the next one we have is Mark St. Jean, Stone Path Malt. Malt Path.
You know what? I
Yes.
know Donna wants to be part of this discussion. Do you want to move down to, since we have so many people from Littleton Drive, including a town employee?
I didn't want Littleton Drive on this agenda tonight, but we have it, so.
It's there.
I mean, we can take it in line, but I know
Yeah,
that Donna
no, I
wants
don't-
to talk about Stone Path.
Okay. All right, let's go. Yeah, let's go to Littleton Drive. Get it out of the way. Russ, yeah, you're here. Okay.
Can people still hear me and see me?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we haven't,
Sorry.
haven't lost you yet.
All right.
Okay, Littleton Drive, who wants to?
Can I just,
Yeah.
can I just interrupt for a minute? Is Donna getting on or is she having difficulty?
She's trying to get on right now. I just
Okay.
spoke with.
Yeah, I've got,
Yeah.
we're still working in the back here, so. if we
I'm
can
still-
get,
As soon as
Well-
she's
Get Donna on, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So Mark, you could leave her a little bit and come back and check and see where we stand, because I don't think Littleton Drive will be done in 5 minutes.
That's true.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, Littleton Drive is, we had talked about it before, and I think everybody knows that we're not granting any flow due to the moratorium until July, when the review by the board and the engineers to see where we're going. But we do know that we had talked also about getting people in the queue. So we did discuss that they're officially in the queue. So I know we've talked about it, and I would recommend that we address the issue to get them in the queue. So when we're ready to actually physically grant gallons after July, that they'll be in the queue and they'll be in place to get some flow. I know the project is quite a ways away. We've been talking about things that we want, what we're requiring or would like to see in the project. We also know that the project comes under the purview of the ZBA, and we'd like to work close with the ZBA to make sure that our voices are heard. So I thought it was important that they have a chance to present at this time to assure them that they can be in the queue and that we are considering it, but everybody knowing that we have issues with capacity, and so they can have an idea of how that fits into what they're trying to do. We've sent to the board their timeline. We have that. That may or may not change as things change as they move forward, but I thought this would be an opportunity for them to present themselves and at least get in the queue, and we can recognize that what they're trying to accomplish. And we also said in many meetings that there's no commitment. We just think it's that they should be getting the queue when we do start doing something.
And I'm just going to say congratulations, Penrose, for being approved at zoning last night. That was a big hurdle.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, who,
I have some notes that I'd like to present to the
Go at it.
commission.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I share my screen?
Yes,
Yep.
and I'm going to ask it, you can identify yourself so that when the minutes are being taken down, they know who's speaking. Thank you, Ken Buckland.
Ken Buckland, Planning Director and clerk of the Redevelopment Authority.
Okay.
So if I can share my screen.
That'd be Bob or Steve. He wants to share his screen?
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
I don't know how that works.
Steve.
Steve, thanks, Steve. I didn't mean to insult you.
Yeah,
Can you see this now?
Okay,
I can.
Great. First off, this is the town housing project at Littleton Drive, being promoted by Penrose, and give you a little bit of history of the land. It was approved as a 47 lot subdivision back in 1971. Interestingly enough, in 1976, the special town meeting appropriated money for the Swifts Beach sewers. So in August and October of 76, the town council arranged an agreement between the developer and the planning board to have the installation of sewers in the subdivision as part of the project. The sewer line was installed in that first section of developed Littleton Drive. It ends at a manhole in the right of way. But the town got the land from a bank in 1978, and it's been in our hands for a while. What happened is we got a town meeting vote in spring of 19 to transfer the land to the redevelopment authority so we could get a housing project built there. As you may recall from the town meeting action, we heard from the floor that senior units were an important part of the development project. We arranged with Mass Housing. They happen to have they're the biggest state housing authority agency in the state. And they had a special pilot program and came in and helped us out, brought us a consultant to go out for requests for proposals. It was well attended RFP. We got Penrose as the preferred developer because of their experience and because the senior or age restricted housing was a significant component, which wasn't included in the other proposals, but was in the Penrose one. What we did was we went through and modified the site plan and have gone through the process of expanding the senior housing units. But one thing that was at issue was we weren't guaranteed the senior housing units because the tax credit program, DHCD would, an affordable housing
Can you look
program
at
that they
on?
would use. Excuse me?
He's
You
on the
may
phone.
mute yourself.
The tax credit program was limited to the family and workforce housing units, but luckily we had Mass Housing with us because they negotiated with the Secretary's office at DHCD to obtain approval for the simultaneous action on the both elements of the workforce family housing and the senior units. So it was submitted under the Chapter 40B comprehensive permit. And that's the process that was approved last night. It was applied in December, and we're getting ready to go after the tax credits in January 21st. One of the things under 40B, and this happened with Woodland Cove, the project on Red Brook Road and the Cranberry Highway, was that it's a
I'm here.
it allows the zoning board of appeals to act on all local bylaws, including the sewer connection bylaws that the general bylaws specify under Division 5, Article 2 and 3. So that means that the ZBA may issue the connection permit, but what we're hoping is that we can have something where we get an agreement on the scheduling of the project and how the connection can be accommodated within the process. One thing that Sandy pointed out last night was that we haven't been before the Sewer Commission yet, and I apologize for that. One of the reasons why is I keep in regular contact with Guy and let him know what's going on. He tells me what he's looking for as well. So we try to maintain communications. One of the things that we were looking for was the flow that the project would have, and the scheduling, so that we know what it would be like to try to fit it into the capacity that's available in the wastewater system. Right now, what we have is the 93 units have a Title V flow of 15,875 gallons. And we expect it'll come online. It'll be probably under construction in 22. Charlie is assuming that he can have it done fairly quickly, but I'm thinking it's 23 is the date when they'll be opening the doors.
That'll be the earliest. We would not be hooking up to the system until 2023.
So, and in the meantime, Penrose, just as Woodland Cove did, would be agree to the infiltration and reduction projects. That's either the $5 per gallon that Woodland Cove had provided, or they could do the projects, some of the actual work themselves.
Well, it comes under Mass General. I forget the head. I'll look at 2.04, whatever. But it talks about a specific amount of flow to offset the infiltration. I'll look it up. It's a Commonwealth law, CMR. I don't want to misquote, but CMR, I don't know, 210, 2.4, 2.04. But I'll dig it up for you, Ken. I'll get it over to you.
That sounds good. So what our ask is that we have a commitment for a connection to a great project. We're really pleased with the way the project is going. We have a real great opportunity for adding affordable senior housing, and this particular project, by the way, would put us over 10%, so that we'd be protected against 40B projects elsewhere.
So my
Wrong.
40B project is no good, huh?
Keep in mind that 10% is regional, not just the town. So until Marion can get something more than 2% affordable, we still can have 40B projects in here.
Really?
Yes,
We'd be protected for a year.
maybe. Oh yeah, 1 year.
So it's not per town, it's per region.
You have a town requirement, and you have a region. So if they don't have enough affordable in the region, we will be required to take a 40B project after, as Ken says, a year of waiver.
So even though we meet 10%, or if we're 12%, we're still obligated to take 40Bs.
Because the region is
The
understated.
region is missing. So the whole
Yes.
region has to take 40Bs until the
Yeah.
region gets to where they get. Okay.
Yeah, I can't see Marion accepting it, but that's, can I ask a question? Are you saying because it's a 40B project, zoning has the final say on connecting to sewer, even if we don't have capacity?
The way that the state law reads is that all local bylaws come under the ZBA's approval. That they act on all, which includes the wetlands bylaw, the road construction bylaws, everything that the town has as regulation and bylaws comes under the ZBA.
So if zoning has a final approval, why do we bother with all our sub-meetings and committees?
Because
Why are they in front of conservation if it means nothing, because ZBA can do what they want?
I think it's cooperation, Sandy.
Mr. Chairman or Mrs. Chairman, I can weigh in on that a little bit if you'd like.
Go right ahead, please.
Yeah. So we're, one thing to keep in mind is that, and I always like to say this is, we're doing this project for the town. It was an RFP we responded to. We've tried to give the town what they want. You can obviously see from our plan that, this is a 16-acre site. We're only doing 93 units on it, which is a very small amount that you would typically get under a 40B. So 40B is really the vehicle to move this forward, and it works for everybody because it allows everybody to kind of get the project they want and fit it into the zoning that they want. But Penrose and our team, that our desire here is not to use that as a tool to go around processes. But what we want to do is work with the town, and so that's why we're coming to you, and that's why we're coming to the Conservation Commission, because we want to do a project that meets the requirements for the town. I think just sort of following up, and maybe we could get into this. We got our engineer here, Rich Clater. What we'd like to do is if we could actually show you the plan, maybe we could go through it. I know Guy has given some feedback to our guys in terms of what things they'd like. We'd like to present that to you to see if the plan works. And I think this whole issue about the capacity, I think we could come up with a plan that, and we'd be committed to doing this with you, is to figure out how this doesn't impact your capacity, right? So we could come up with through an I&I plan that we would put back as much as, or take out as much as we put in, I guess is the right word, right? And so we would like to find a way to do that with you so that we could get the capacity and it wouldn't be a detriment to you and to your system. But maybe we could start with having Rich show you, the technical part of what we're trying to do to make and to move that part forward so we can design it in the way that works for you. If that would be helpful. Does that make sense? Would that be a good place to start?
That's a good place to start as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree with the capacity at the plant, but what about the capacity of the infrastructure and the pump stations that've got to get it to the plant? Has anybody looked at that? I mean, when they approved this in 1976, that area was not developed. So I'm assuming that the design for that plant, now maybe the design, the pump station and infrastructure for that, for this development, I'm not sure, but I just think it should be looked at. Now, in fairness, we used some of the funds for our modeling, and we did the industrial park because there's some businesses out there that we wanted to see. So we have a modeling grant. Maybe we can start the modeling at Swiss Beach, where you're going to be, to see if there's any red flags that we need to be aware of and concerned with, that we'll at least be able to get that information to you and see how we're going to mitigate it. If that would help out the project. Because we're going to do it anyways. It's the timing of how we're going to do it. So I'll have to talk to Russ if he can rearrange his time to start at Swiss Beach, heading off of Littleton down the road to Ruggles, and then over to Smith, and then back out to Kennedy. He can do that modeling part to assure us that the lines that we have there, and keep in mind, many of those lines have I&I issues, and they're very difficult to chase, only because they're deep. And they're hard to line. We tried lining down in one Kinko, and we lost our shirt just about, and we still have major issues there because of sump pumps and things of that sort, and the depth and the tide and the pressure. So I think we need to do an impact study, and we can probably do a lot of that through the modeling that we're going to take on anyways. We did the exact same modeling for Kendrick, et cetera, to get the business in there. So I think it would be fair to do that also for this project. So we'll take care of that. But that's my concerns. And I think we need to mitigate. We have plenty of time. If we get this modeling done early, we have plenty of time to work together to see how we're going to get it done.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah, we do have plenty of time. It's not going to be till 2023. We just need to, we just need to make sure we can get the commitment from you guys now to do it with what you need to do, because it's critically important to, the feasibility of the project. As we're submitting our application, that's all, and that's why we're here.
Well, you have
Hold it, Guy, hold on a second. What kind of a commitment are you looking for now?
Well, we're looking for the ability to have capacity to tie into the sewer, but not until 2023. And
that 15,000 GP gallons per day is your requirement, or what you're requesting?
Is that, Rich, can you,
15,875 gallons.
Yeah,
875. Mr. Chairman, Rich Clater, Horsley
Yes.
Wilson Group. So yeah, it's 15,875 gallons is
So what
the
you're
Title 5 flow.
Right. So what you're looking for is a commitment for that kind of a flow for 2023.
correct.
Yeah, I mean, from my standpoint, I don't know that we can give you that kind of a commitment at this particular point in time. We have got a lot of balls in the air regarding what our flow capacities are and how to address them, and how to find out if we've got any more, any place that we can pick up. And until we have some of those answers, we don't have anything sitting out there on the shelf that we say, oh yeah, we'll give you this and, don't worry about it. Well, we may or may not be able to do that.
Rich, can you divide the flow between the home dwellings and the apartment?
Yes, we have done those calculations. Well, that's the I&I calculation. But yeah, I have those. Let me see if I open that up.
Where's the I&I in the development itself?
No, the I&I would be a contribution to either you guys in terms of cash to fix that, or a study, and we would do that. So we would rely on DEP's calculations based on the flow, 15,875 gallons per day.
Thank you, I see it. Yep.
So that's right there, the total. And then
when
we
do
have
you-
it broken down by all the different building types. So we can give you exactly that based on the number of bedrooms in each unit.
When do
in each
you expect
system.
the senior building to be completed?
Charlie, you want to take that
Yeah,
one?
so we're going to build everything at once. It'll all be at one
Oh,
time.
you are?
Yeah, so the very earliest we would, I mean, if we get the award in this round, and we're able in this round, the very, very earliest we could close and start construction would be in like January of 2022.
Thank you.
And it would be a 16-month construction schedule. So we're looking at, mid January or mid 2023 for when we actually would need the sewer capacity.
Okay. Because I was under the impression they would be done in two different phases.
We're trying to do them all at once.
That
Okay.
was the approval we got from Mass Housing negotiating with DHCD, the Secretary's office.
For me, if Mr. Chairman, if you will, I think, and I'm not going to speak for anybody, but to commit at this point, that's why we had a moratorium, because we're going to reevaluate in July. I don't think it's a question of not wanting to give the gallons. The question becomes is what is our capacity and ability to give those gallons? And we have some plans in place to address these things. And so again, to say at this point, we're putting in basins, we're doing things in July, the reevaluation of the engineering firm is, okay, here's what we've done, here's what we have, and then we start allocating capacity. I think that's what our plan was. So, and I know it probably doesn't help you or what you're looking for, but it's not that we're saying we're against the project. We just want to be careful and saying, well, let's have a time to evaluate as we originally had planned in July, and we put a moratorium on anybody. Nobody can put a gallon in the system. And the moratorium, whether it's 1 gallon or 1 million gallons, you just can't do it. And that's what the moratorium's all about. And then in July, we'd say, okay, great. We have the capacity. The basins can handle this much of the what we call the elephant in the room is I&I because of the leaky pipes. So we can give this capacity out, and the engineers will help us do that. And then we would designate capacity. And I think that's what we're trying to accomplish. That's just, what we've been doing. That's my opinion. So I don't know how we say we give you a gallon when other people ask for gallons, we're telling them wait until July. I don't know how we justify that. And again, ZBA is in control. ZBA has already issued capacity. We just got to figure out how to do it. And we want to, I don't think we're going to bless it until after July, but according to the law, ZBA is taking care of everything. We just got to figure out how to do it. And we won't have answers until July on how we're going to do it. What's our time frame and that type of thing. So that's why I asked for patience till July, not that we don't want to do the project. We just got to be sure what we're going to do.
Okay, Guy, one of the things that they've got to be, aware of that we kind of are glossing over is the fact that we're still on a chokehold by the amount that we can expel after we've treated it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless of what our potential capacity is at the plant, we can only expel a certain amount.
And that's what we're talking about.
We're right up there right now. So anything more comes in has to go back out again someplace. And unless you want it in your basement, we don't have a place to put it.
We're at 76%, I believe, or 72%. At 80%, we have, and we're gearing to the 80%. We have to count for that 20%, and we know most of that's I&I, and that's what we're doing. And so the basins are going to help with that I&I. So I'm not even talking about increasing our flow to the river. That's something we're doing. And within 2 years, we may have that, which will bring us to 2 million gallons a day opposed to 1.56. So all that's in play. And so all I'm saying is that we have every intention to continue the growth of the town. We have every intention of taking care of all these projects. All I'm saying is that we need to wait till July to reevaluate, because we'll have the basins online. We can see some numbers, and then we can say comfortably, wow, we're in good shape. I can give away this many gallons and we'll be comfortable. That's all I'm saying. Not that I want to say I'm saying this many times, but it's not that we're against the project. I think we want to be careful to make sure we have the allocation. I know it's 2023, but it's the allocations. As an example, I just got a letter that was the flow was granted in 2012, and I'm asked to honor that.
Yeah, that's the point. We can't,
How do I do that?
at this point, I'm not going to go along with honoring any additional flows.
That's what I'm saying.
Because we're going to have to honor it in the future, whether or not we can accept it.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. In July, we have to reevaluate.
Well, exactly.
Okay. Can I have a question on the project?
Go right ahead.
There's a force main going behind the senior building, right? Does it connect to the line on Swiss Beach?
It does. It connects to the manhole. When you go down Littleton, you take a left. I believe there's a manhole that it connects to. That force main comes from Prometheus.
It's being used right now.
Correct. It comes from
Correct.
Prometheus.
Is the intention to tie into that force main
No.
for this
No.
project?
No. They're going to tie into the manhole. When you come up Littleton Drive, there's a manhole at the end of it before it tees off. That's where they're looking to
Rich,
connect.
can you show me where that manhole is?
Yep, sure. Let me zoom in a little bit. So the existing manhole is right here, comes down Littleton
Oh.
Drive and ends right here. And then the force main wraps its way around. It follows the old right-of-way
Yeah.
down the old path and then comes down in here to Nichols Drive. What our proposal is to have a gravity system for all of our project and then to go over to a pump station, which would have grinder pumps to deal with the wipes issue and that, and then we would have a force main that would come up here and then tie into that same manhole system.
When you
That's the
say
proposal.
pump station, I haven't seen the plans on that. What type of pumps are they going to be? A lot of pumps that are grinder pumps, if you will, in the pump station. I have pump stations all over the place, and none of them macerates, actually throw rags. They just move them down the road.
We've done some initial research on that. These plans are by no means construction ready. We're about at a 25% stage right now. We'll be at a 90%, a 40% stage for, excuse me, the state submission. I thought you got these plans, Guy. I wanted to make sure you'd seen them. We have a detail of how we would do it. We've not specified pumps. We've done a lot of research with the suppliers, and we would work with you on making sure you're comfortable with the pumps that would be
Yeah,
specified.
they all lie. I'm going to say this nicely, they all lie. I've tried every one of them. Sarumis were supposed to be the best. I put Sarumis in an area of town that is we call a rag area, and they keep kicking them out, and I got to keep rebuilding them and replacing them. Rags is a major issue, and we know for a fact that grinder pumps, the little ones, work because they're designed to macerate. And so the product that comes out of them is liquid. And the other ones just keep throwing things. So that's why one of the reasons I talk about rags and things, and I always ask for the grinder pumps, the individual ones, because they do the job and they've been proven to do the job, and we don't get any repercussion down the road into Ruggles. Because if you're just throwing me rags and it doesn't literally macerate them and you throw them to me, then I'm going to have a major problem at my station. So that was my thought for it.
Well, I think that's the kind of thing that we would work with you on and make sure that you're comfortable with that.
I appreciate that.
So
one of the questions I guess we had, though, for the purpose for being here, is that a offer to do 15,875 gallons of I&I work in exchange for some kind of a commitment seems to make. I guess that's part of the request that we're asking for. Is that an acceptable offer?
The I&I was going to be part of the deal anyways. That's going to be written in because if we were doing a nickel a gallon, et cetera, there's some guidance on that. And so I'll be frank with you. We've lined a lot of pipe. and we're getting no I&I reduction because all we're doing is we're moving it to another area because there's so much. Swiss Beach in general, that entire area has more I&I than you can imagine. They're all old pipes, they're asbestos, and they leak like a sieve, and a large majority are deep into the ground. Water table's 4 to 6, and these pipes are 8 to 15 feet. So it's difficult. We tried lining some pipe there, and like I said earlier, it kind of like beat us up because of the depth and the pressures and sump pump pressures. So yeah, I hear you, and I like to do that, but I am not convinced. And I talked to DEP and the city of Brockton, and we're spending millions of dollars to line pipe, and we're not seeing it. I think what we're missing is the laterals, but that's another story. Let's figure something out. Absolutely. I like to figure something. If I went to another part of town that we know we can grab it, like some concrete pipe or maybe some clay pipe, then that may work. So I'm meeting tomorrow with our engineers on our I&I issue. So maybe I'll address it with them, and maybe we can find a spot that we could actually literally remove the I&I.
Okay.
So I will work with you on that.
Good.
I have another question. Please, I had a chance to look at your stormwater plan, and in it you talked about illicit usage, and it included pumps. I just wanted, do you know what section I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's in the pollution prevention report. And basically what it is it's a commitment that, any of the construction activities that go on will follow the illicit discharge requirements of DEP. No sump pumps on this project. There are no basements. So we're going to be on slab and above, well above groundwater.
Okay.
So none of that.
There's no groundwater there, so you're going to be above groundwater in all your construction. Sandy, I apologize, but I have to.
Yep.
In your entire project, there's no groundwater.
Well, we've done 6 test pits and 30 borings. We know where the groundwater is from the modeling in the soil, and then we've installed 2 wells, and we're going to monitor that monthly. So we're going to have more data, and we're going to want to monitor through the wet season. So we'll be providing as much information as we can to you on that.
Is there any
So
way?
you guess you know where, you guess you know where I was going. I wanted it stated there'd be no sump pumps, and you just said there's no cellar, so there's no sump pumps.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. No sump pumps.
Okay. I got to tell you that's for me, it's a game changer, because if we're not in the table and there's no way to bring in I&I to that project, that's pretty big, because what we get will be pure product from the development. So that's a game changer.
Mac, did you have a question?
No, my comment was that the design is in line with what we're looking for, correct, Guy?
Correct.
My other question is it in queue? Is there an application in? Because that's how we decided to take them.
That's right. And that's why you're right, Malcolm. Absolutely. And that's why it's important that we get them in the queue. So now we have official presentation, we put them in the queue. So now that we get to July, we start doing these things, they're in the queue. If we didn't do this tonight, they wouldn't be in the queue.
So here's my issue. It's a great idea to mitigate some of the I&I to help this out. But we have not offered that to anybody else that we've turned down.
We have. Well, it's the size of the project. If the project is less than 10,000 gallons, we don't offer it. If it's over 10,000 gallons, we actually put it in. We've been putting a nickel a gallon in. So they pay us the money, we take that money and go do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Woodland Cove is a nickel a gallon because they have the gallons. Same thing. We did it to all the developments in the malls.
Right. Well, Woodland Cove was prior to any moratorium, correct?
I'm sorry?
Woodland Cove was prior to the moratorium.
That is correct. But we still did the, because capacity is always an issue, and the regs in DEP, they suggest that it's over a certain amount of gallons that you get a I&I fee, because I&I is a major problem throughout the country, Massachusetts and Wareham. And so we add those anyways. We actually have done a corrosion fee for people, for restaurants and things that we know are going to be corrosion. They produce a lot of grease, a lot of acidic wastewater. We do a corrosion fee. So we're doing that stuff. So we do that right along, and this would fall into that particular category. We would definitely charge them an I&I. They'd be responsible for an I&I mitigation, whatever that was. So we'll definitely do that. It could be cash, or it could be saying, okay, you go line that area, whatever the case is. And actually, we were doing the nickel a gallon on 5 times. If you give me a gallon, you're taking out 5 gallons. For every gallon you give me, take out 5. So that was the ratio. Because I&I removal is an inexact science. And so it's 5 to 1. Some people do 7 to 1, 8 to 1. So that's how we do that.
They were kind of getting a little away from it. Go ahead.
Jimmy?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Donna.
I gotta go. I just have a comment to, I think, I know what they're looking for, and we all feel we would like to give it to them, but we all know we don't have the capacity. So to sit here and debate it, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. Why don't we just wait until July? At least they're in the queue, like, you know, we did say, and we certainly want to be able to give this to them. The project looks great, but you can't give what you don't know what you have. And, you know, why are we?
Well,
I guess
I think what we were trying to do is to try to figure out, and to go back to this, and I thought maybe Guy was heading in that direction about some places to do some I&I down into other parts of the town, was to figure out a way so that wouldn't be an impact to you at all.
If you removed I&I today or did something, I wouldn't see that results for a year or two. So here's,
Right.
and I mean that. So if I said to you, yes, we'll do this area, I have to monitor it to see that removal. And like I said, so far we have seen no removal. That's all. But I'm going to find an area that may be more conducive. But again, as I had said, and I was very emphatic about this, is that July 1, we have a moratorium that says we will not grant anything until July 1. That's the moratorium. And to start playing with it is a slippery slope for us.
Let's
Correct.
back up. Let's back up on this for 1 second. I agree with, definitely support what Guy just said. But from your standpoint of the development and all, July looks like the earliest we're going to give a commitment of any type. Would it be when you wouldn't be under construction at that point anyhow? And if we find at that time that we can allocate some gallons, we may not be able to allocate the 15,000. Would you be amenable to accepting whatever we could allow at that point for your project?
Well, we have a, go ahead, Ken.
That would put the project behind by several years in that
So
process.
it puts it behind. It puts it behind. You want it pumped into your basement instead? I'll be happy to do that. We have got a capacity issue. We have got an issue with disposal of the end product after we have it. And we've got these things in line right now. We're looking at, we're trying to get results on, we're trying to get answers for. When we have those answers, we'll be able to do more. Until we have those answers, we cannot. I'm not going to try to pat anybody on the head and say, yeah, we're going to do this and everything else for you when we can't.
And we have 2 other projects that have come before us ahead of you. You know, if we were to find a way of taking care of those silly sump pumps, that would help immensely, but we can't seem to get enough, what should I say, force
Traction.
behind our request to stop the sump pumps, especially down at Swiss Beach and Hamilton. So
I'm sorry,
Ken,
what's-
maybe,
What sump pumps are you talking about? We don't have any sump pumps here.
no, I'm talking ones that exist today in Swiss Beach and Hamilton that are absolutely overloading our system with fresh water, which is causing our capacity issue. But we can't seem to get any power behind us to stop it.
The bottom
I'm
line,
sorry, I'm just bitching.
Alan said something about that.
Hey,
By the way, we passed an illicit discharge bylaw, if you may recall, that allows the enforcement of the to cut off some pumps that are discharging to the system.
okay, enforce it.
Enforce it. How are you
Have a
going to enforce
bylaw,
it?
enforce it.
It's nice to have these things.
Ken, let me make sure I understand. You have a bylaw that you can't put sump pumps into the drain system?
That's correct.
I'm working
That
with the
doesn't stop it from
DEP.
being in the sewer system.
I'm working with the DEP to get it out of the sewer system into the drain system and treat it. So with your bylaw, that negates that. There's grants available to do that. So your bylaw negates that.
I think that's a discussion outside of this meeting.
It is,
Absolutely.
it is, but I
Please,
just,
can we continue on our agenda?
Okay, I think, to kind of sort of sum this up at the moment, we can't give you any commitment at this particular point in time for gallonage. You are in the queue to be considered as soon as we have gallonage available. That's probably not going to happen before July. Hopefully at that particular point in time, we will have at least an answer and a direction on what we're going to be able to do with our disposal and if we can increase the amount of flow going into the river. But that's, again, outside of our purview. We've looking into it to see if it can be accomplished through, what is it, DEP guy?
yes.
Whether it can or not, we don't know. We would like to assume that it probably can because of the nitrogen levels that we carry. We're also looking at groundwater discharge in areas. We haven't delineated a specific area that's acceptable to be able to do that yet. Once we have something like that, that would potentially give us more gallonage available. But these are all things that we're working on, as well as a pipeline down to the canal in order to expel out there. But until something comes to fruition, we're locked in. We're locked in on two fronts. One, the capacity that we're able to generate at the moment, and two, what we're able to expel. And that's basically our chokehold, is what our expulsion is. So that being said, I'm sorry. I wish we could do more for you, but we can't.
The projects that are on the commitment list at this time, Bourne, Woodland Cove, the assisted living facility, those are ones that also would have to wait until July for determination.
Woodland Cove isn't on that list.
Woodland Cove's on that list.
Sutler's Glen, right? Chapel Street.
We know
What else?
we gave Chapel Lane, we gave them gallons. That was 1,700 gallons. They have that. The ones we got that are in the queue.
Oh,
If
the
I
one
remember-
the one on Sandwich in the hollow where the
Yes,
Sandy
on
and the
Sandwich
girl.
Road.
Sandy,
We actually gave them gallons.
No. Okay, Jimmy, what's in the queue?
At the moment, I don't honestly know.
There's a 40B that was presented to us by the gentleman who did a lot of work in Cremecet. That's up near Woodland Cove. That was presented.
Yeah, that's Settlers Glen on,
Oh, okay, yeah,
on Red Brook.
Yes, okay. I was thinking of the one down on Sandwich Road when you said hollow, because it's down, so yeah, we gave commitment to, but there's that one. And I think there's a couple small ones. But that's in the queue.
The list that Russ Kleekamp had put together in the memo listed out the assisted living facility, and I thought it included 32,000 gallons for Woodland Cove as well.
No, Woodland Cove has been committed. And I think it's down, and I think they decreased it, I forget, but Woodland Cove has been committed. We did that at a year ago, 2 years ago, ZBA, and we did it, and so they're committed. The assisted living on Sandwich Road, that was committed years ago. And so we're going to honor that.
Yes, but take a look. I saw pictures of that sucker yesterday. It was huge.
On what?
I don't think we committed to that type of size out of that assisted living.
I know it was quite high. Fire department had a problem with it.
No, it's huge. It's long and tall and whatever.
It is.
I don't think the units they're planning now match what we were approved.
Well, we'll have to see. There was a meeting and
Okay.
I thought the gallons were the same, but we've approved X amount of gallons. If they want to go higher, that's their business. They just can't bring it to us because we approved
Okay,
an X amount of gallons on their project. We approved it.
If they choose to tie into our force main down at Lad, down the street from you.
Yes, they're gonna go down into that development. It'll be all gravity. They'll force
Yes.
main it from their project to
Just-
that
okay.
gravity. Yes, that's on them.
I need you to take a look at the size being proposed versus the size that's been committed.
Okay.
Okay,
I know,
all
yeah,
right,
there's a commitment. We'll look at that.
all right, sorry, I went off tangent. I'm just as bad as everybody else.
Bring the
The reason
cat
why
in.
I asked about that was because the project on Sandwich Road is well off. It is not ready for, it's just starting on its permitting process at this time,
Mhm.
and is under review to determine zoning compliance.
No, and Ken, for us, what's dangerous, I gotta be frank with you, we give gallons away and these projects don't come to fruition for years down the road. Sometimes they don't come and they get delayed, which means somebody else can't get those gallons. So we put a year. What we said is that we'll give you the gallons and a year later, if you don't use it, we take it away. And so that's our policy because we give gallons and they don't get used. We got some, I told you, 2012. Now it's like, oh, I want to use it now. And it's like, okay, that doesn't work for me. So there's a year. Once you get approval to tie in, you got a year to get it done. Or at least a year to begin the project working towards it, if that makes sense.
I will repeat myself again. If we're committed to gallons that we can't sunset, we can't run a business.
And
Those gallons are committed somewhere. They don't use them and we can't charge for them. That's no way to run a business.
So
And
we,
I've asked before, and I don't know where this stands, but I still think we need to find a way to sunset some of these commitments that just do not come to fruition for years.
and we've got a policy, we have to find out if we can go retro because there's a lot of projects
Right, that would help a
on-
project
just
like
not coming to
this.
fruition. So those are committed gallons. We can't recommit, but they're not using them.
Right, and like this project, these guys are right on it. They're gonna get it going.
We've got our approvals. We've got our CBA approval.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't have the gallonage.
So we'll
But
figure it out.
We've made commitments. We can't, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Those need to be pulled back. Those are gallons that are easy to pull back.
And the reality is when you make a moratorium, it's a slippery slope. If we say, oh,
Correct. Correct.
and we know we got a moratorium, we're going to commit to you, then the others that we said no, it's not the moratorium, they're going to say to us, well, wait a minute. So you will commit if we do this, this, and this. And that's why, for me, slippery slopes are scary. And we said we would not commit. We'll work with anybody. We want everybody to get their project done. But for me to say, yes, here's the gallons, then everybody else that's in the queues, I got to say the same thing. And I don't want to go there. It's you did it for him. Why don't you do it for me? And I try to maintain consistency. If we make a policy, I want everybody to follow the policy, not just some people and not others, if that makes sense. But that's how I look at it.
Well,
So that's why I said in July, we'd really, really sit down and get this done. But right now, it would be, we just couldn't say yes because we said we wouldn't grant any increase of flow. That means if you have a business present and you want to expand it, you can't until we make a decision July 1. Because it says increased flow or new flow. You just can't have it. And that's the policy, so we have to stick to it. And July 1, we'll revisit everything. All right. And it's a beautiful project.
Right.
And we're going to do everything we can to get it going. But to commit now just wouldn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense, right? We said no.
right. We said no. We didn't take into account any other conditions that might allow it.
You know what I mean? So that's
I know.
like
Can I
telling the kid
suggest-
no. It's
Can I
no.
suggest that we move
Donna,
on?
Donna,
can-
go ahead.
Can I suggest we move on?
Is that a point of order?
I'm right. Yeah, I was going to just say, it's exactly what it was.
I'm trying to be nice here.
So, I guess going back to the technical piece though, before you guys move on though, Rich, do we have agreement? Do we understand what you want us to design in terms of the macerators, and do we have direction on that? What
Yeah,
would you
I
like to
mean,
see?
I think we're in a good spot in terms of submitting for our funding and the tax credits, and then we're going to have to sit down with Guy and show him what we've got, and then we're going to have to talk to some manufacturers and some options on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I think what we're proposing is the most appropriate approach. I mean, it's my understanding we'd be maintaining that system, and so and documenting the performance.
Yeah, and I get that. It's just that I like I'm saying, I got 45 stations, one goes to another, and I'm following rags from one all the way down to the end till it gets to the plant. And these pumps we buy, and we're paying 20, 30 grand for pumps, and they're supposed to destroy these rags, and it is not happening. And the manufacturer says no problem, but they don't guarantee it.
Yeah, all right.
They say it should. You know, the performance, we did all this work. You know, on the bench, everything works great. And we get it, we say it doesn't work, we're getting rags down the road, and it's like, well, you know, it's supposed to and whatever. So that's all I'm saying. So I want to look at it and work together to make sure we're getting it macerated. The key to me is maceration. And when you look at an E1 pump, look at what comes out, just hold the hose. It's macerated.
Oh, yeah.
It's macerated. And that's what I'm looking for, maceration, because then I don't have any problems with rags. They're done. I don't get them again. And they don't even retwine.
Okay,
Some pumps will cut them and they're retwined. So we'll sit down and talk.
Okay.
We're going. All right.
okay, thank you.
Thank
So
you
we're
for your
starting-
time.
Thank you.
Back.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be talking. Thanks. Come by or call me. We'll get together anytime you want.
And some of you, I'll see you on the 20th for the conservation meeting.
We have asked you for a postponement so we
Oh.
can get your comments back to your peer reviewer and that they have time to review them.
Oh, thank you. One
So
less. I don't-
we don't want to waste anybody's time. We want to be ready so that when you look at it, you've got everything you need. And
So
you
I
will
don't
have
have-
you
Yeah.
will be reviewing that. You're reviewing that under the Wetlands Protection Act. You've got every right to
Yes.
look at every little detail we've got. So you'll have all that.
Before you leave, can I just make a quick note? You have a community garden there, but I couldn't see any water lines going to it. That's just a comment that if I'm going to plant something, I'm going to want to water it.
We
will.
do have, we'll send you, we'll put a connection there so that they can
Because I
irrigate it.
thought, I looked at your water lines and I didn't see anything going to the community garden, but just
We
a
have,
note.
we have updated our water line
Oh, okay.
design based on water department comments. So I'll make sure there's
Thank
a
you.
connection there.
I know it's not part of this topic, but I forgot to say it last night.
Okay.
All right, moving
Thank you.
forward. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
so
thank you.
much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay. Next, is Mark around? Or did
I
I'm
you-
saw
here.
him.
Can you
There he
hear me?
is.
Can you hear
We
me?
can't, we can
Yes,
see,
I think I
but we
can.
can't see you.
Let's see.
Video.
I'm looking for it. Start my video.
There
we
you go.
Oh,
You're live.
There he is, okay.
I just have to say that was both exhausting and discouraging. At the same time, I don't know which comes first. But anyways. Yeah, I'm just curious listening to that whole process and the moratorium. I mean, have people taken into consideration this pandemic and businesses that probably not gonna reopen through this whole process?
The problem
Yeah.
is,
I guess that's
that
why
doesn't
July
apply
is
to-
probably a good.
that doesn't
time
apply
frame.
to, Mark, that doesn't apply to anything because the commitments are out there. If they don't reopen, something else is gonna probably go in their spot. There's a commitment for that particular spot.
Well, it's not only commitments, it's existing. Has anyone looked at what the flow rates are going into
It's the same,
system?
in some cases higher. People are
Yeah.
home,
In 2020, the flow rate was the same or
actually it's a
higher.
little higher. So we looked at the flow rate for the past 5 years. And I don't know if it's because people are home more, but we're getting, the flow hasn't gone away. So because it was presented to us that with COVID and businesses down, flow goes away, but those people are not working. Where are they? They're home. And when they're home, they're using water. So the water is increased. So-
Yeah, that's surprising because all the restaurants in town that have basically been closed,
Absolutely. Well, some of them.
the average discharge of restaurants about 5,800 gallons a day.
Absolutely. And so when people are working, they're not home using their water. They're not cooking, et cetera, et cetera. They're just not home. When everybody's
Yeah.
home, the kids are home, the parents are home, everybody's home. It's just the flow doesn't, usually we get diurnal, we see more flow at night from the residents. Now we're
Yeah.
seeing them 24 hours a day.
Interesting. Okay, that
Yeah,
was just,
yeah, we found it interesting.
just listening to this, I was back and forth, and so.
Okay, we're on to your thing. We've got some issues that Guy has presented the wet well's ability to handle a plug flow of 5,000 gallons, 8-inch line able to handle a plug flow, nutrients. that
Well,
are in
can I just back up a little bit, Jimmy, and
Sure.
just say, our interests are totally and completely aligned. The less water I use in my process, the better my operating margins are. The less solids I send down into the system, which we've put preventive measures in, the more grain I can sell. And as far as the tap room is concerned, the less beer I send down the drains, the more I can sell. So I just wanted to start this meeting out that way and kind of frame it and have the discussion. So I don't know where you want to start or where we want to begin, but I'm happy to start anywhere you want.
I think I want to start with Donna because I know she had some comments. I wanted to make some comments.
Okay.
Donna?
Well, and this is the Stone Path malt that we're referring to now? Your mark?
Affirmative.
Okay.
Affirmative.
I guess we had asked for testing up there, I believe. Guy, am I not correct?
Yes, what we're looking for is what is the strength of the product? And I know Mark said that he doesn't want to send it down, and I appreciate that, but we still don't know. We don't know what the nutrient value coming out, and we needed some testing to establish BOD, suspended solids, to know what we're getting. And so and to be frank, we also said that you would tell us when you went online. Now, I've been told you're online, but we were never notified. And so if you could do some testing to see what the strength of your product is, so we know what the BOD, TSS. We're in the middle of developing a pretreatment program, and we're doing local limits, and we'll know what we can handle at the plant. We have a solids problem at the plant. We have a TSS problem at the plant. We're blowing up the back end, and I'm sure I'm not blaming you, but you could be a contributor like many others. So we're trying to get everything in line. We have others. We got the factory down the road from you. We're asking the same thing. They've started. We got the donut factory. We made them do tons of work to become into compliance. So it's not picking on anybody, but I need numbers. I need your BOD, your pH, your TSS. Get them for me. When you do your plug flow, whatever it is, get a sample, send it to the lab, and then get me the numbers, and we'll do that for a few months, and we'll see what we have, what's there.
Guys, slow down. I can't keep up with it.
That's okay.
Yeah. So
Look
here's
at the
the thing.
tape.
Can you?
So I understand exactly what Guy said. Let me respond to that. When we came into town, in June of 17, we did a complete presentation to every stakeholder in town: sewer, water, police, planning. They all were there, selectmen. So, and that's the document that you have. As part of that, as through the process, I don't know if you can see this, but
Yep.
is that upside down?
No, that was fine. Now it is.
It's fine.
It was upside
So
down.
you can
but now it's
see
fine.
at our cost and at Guy's request, we put a test pit in for him to test and to not only test what we were discharging, but also the flow rates, which he can do. So
But
that was part of our agreement. Day one. Actually, it wasn't day one. It was after we spent significant money coming in to town, but be that as it may. So, Guy, if you want that information, it is available to you.
So I do. I would like you to, so here's the thing, the cost. You sample, I have the ability to have a sample that I do random sampling to verify sampling from businesses, not just you, but others. I don't sample at the cost of the town because the town's not going to do something in a private business. You sample it, you send it to me on a regular basis. I will come in and say, hey, listen, I want to come in 2 months and set up my sample to verify what you're getting for numbers.
That was not our agreement. Our agreement was as part of this, we would set up a test pit. We would set up a test pit, and that's what we did at our expense.
Send me the notes. I don't remember. I was under the impression, I remember that you would do it, we would do it randomly because we do everything randomly, and it never would have been at our cost. Never. Why would we?
It's there, and that was our agreement. And I'm happy to comply with it. There's no interest for me to withhold information. In fact, just a little, can people see this?
Yes.
This is what we discharged at 7 o'clock tonight, which is why I had to run, because we had a little bit of an issue.
So there's some turbidity there. The color, I don't know what's in the color. The water I discharge
You can test it.
is
You
clear.
can test
I
it
can drink it.
anytime you want.
Well,
You
Mark,
can
send
call
that to
me.
the lab. Send that to the lab for TSS, suspended solid. Ask them what they need.
No, I don't. I don't want to take that responsibility. I want you
It
to,
is.
because every time I send information to this board, it does not really get conveyed. So this is what
Send
we're
it to me.
sending.
Send
This
me
is
the
what we're
results
sending to
directly
you.
to the plant, and I'll add it to your file. You know, because
So that's our
Mark, let me
liquid.
just say this: what I do for you, I have to do for everybody. And I've got many businesses in town. I'm not sampling everybody.
Guy, it doesn't matter to me. I
matters to
don't
me.
care about any business in town, what they're discharging. I know what we're discharging.
Okay, so sample it and let me know, and we're good.
I want you to sample it. and
I want you to
see what
sample it and
find.
send it. At your
I
cost.
know what it
not my
is.
cost. I'm not
I
doing
know what it is.
Well,
So
okay.
that's our
What's the
liquid
TSS What's the
discharge.
BOD of it, Mark? What's the BOD?
Everything.
What's the
No,
BOD?
I am
You know
not
what it is.
representing
What's the
anything
BOD?
that we have done. I want you to test it.
No,
That was
you
our
test it, Mark,
agreement.
at your
We put
cost.
the base, we put this as part of our agreement. We were gonna establish a
Send me the
baseline.
agreement.
Who agreed to this? Did we agree
Yes,
to this, Jim?
I did, yes, he
Jim.
did.
No, we
Jim,
talked, we had a lot
Jim.
of discussions. I said we'd have to sample, and we would come and do a random sampling, and I said that you would pay, I'm paying for nothing.
And I put the test pit out there for you.
Um,
Just for
Have you
I put it outside.
sampled?
You use
We've
it
been
too.
here for
I
3 years.
suggested you put it inside, Mark.
Have you? No, you did not.
I did.
You suggested it was going right out from what we were discharging.
I
And then with the
suggested-
tap room, you said, move it up. We put it,
I suggest, yeah, let me
Exactly
get
where
everything
you
in one
want it.
line, Mark. I said, you got to get everything in there. So well, my point is to be fair, put all the flows into one. So it would be
exactly,
fair
which is where we
representation of
put
where
the
it is.
test pit for you.
That's fine. That's
And,
what-
and we've been here for 3 years.
So why
have you
haven't you
tested?
tested?
Have you tested?
No, have you tested?
Okay.
It's your property.
I know exactly what we're sending to you.
All right,
But
so
I do
so let
not
me know.
want,
Send me
I
the,
want you to
send me the
test.
documents as to what
Excuse
it
me.
is.
All right,
Uh,
whoa, whoa, whoa,
DOD
whoa,
is
Jimmy,
whoa,
I
whoa,
want
whoa.
you to test for your, and we
all
can,
right,
we
Yeah.
can compare
gentlemen.
results.
You don't.
Gentlemen, this is
Yeah.
not
So can I,
productive.
can I keep going?
Hold on.
So that's the
Yeah.
liquid
Stop.
discharge.
So,
Let's
No,
talk
I'm done.
about,
Stop,
let's talk about our solid waste.
stop,
enough.
totally stop. This is going nowhere fast.
Nope.
No,
and
I need to
if
finish.
it's-
I
if
need
it's
to
going- if
finish
it's going any
this,
further,
Jimmy.
if it's going any more like this, stop.
Let me
We're
finish
not- Stop,
my,
stop. We're gonna have no more of this yelling. We've got a situation here. It's who tested, you test, we test, you test, we test. That's going nowhere fast. Bottom line is, we need numbers. Two things should happen. Number one, you send your stuff out and you have it tested, send us the thing. We will go in and do a test and send it out and see if they match or come close.
that was not our agreement, but if that's
If I-
what you,
if
if that's
there-
what, can I
if it's
finish,
something-
Jimmy?
In-
Jimmy,
in
can I
Norman, you
finish?
can. Yes, go ahead. I'll let you.
Okay. If that was not our agreement, but if that's the way the board wants this presented, I'm happy to do it.
Well, you have to understand, we weren't a part of that agreement. I don't remember ever
Well,
seeing
you know
any of this.
what? You can talk, you
Fine,
can
that's fine.
talk to Derek Sullivan, you can talk to the
Uh,
select board. They
We
were
don't
all
recognize that.
involved.
We don't
I-
recognize that.
I don't
Yeah,
remember being in a
well,
meeting with him.
okay, so
I would be happy to
can I,
talk to
can I
them.
finish? Can I finish
go
what
ahead, go
our,
ahead.
can I finish what our byproduct is for our business?
Yep.
because we not only have liquid, but we have solids.
Yep.
And our solids, can people see this?
I can't at the moment.
Can't either.
Um, Anybody, I can't see it. It's not coming to me.
I
Can
can't
people
see
see
it.
it?
No.
It's basically,
Okay.
hold on, let me see if I can get, bear with me here. Can people see this?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
like oatmeal.
This is what is our solid waste. Every batch we do, we get probably 5 to 7 barrels. Sorry. 5 to 7 barrels of this. That is shipped to Farmer Steve up in Rochester. He feeds his cows and his pigs. Our byproduct for that, can people see this?
Yeah. Looks good.
143 market. They bring a cow every Tuesday and a pig every Friday. It's awesome. So that's our waste that we're dealing with here.
Well,
Go ahead, Donna. You started to say something.
well, you know, Mark, it appears that the communication hasn't flowed as probably as it should, and then the level of frustration between you and the level of frustration with us is, if you just communicate like you're doing now, I think we will be, much more receptive, and we can get you can get a good understanding of what we want. I know you understand, as far as you understand, that you went before the Board of Selectmen and the this and the that.
No, I went in front of everyone.
I know you did, but you didn't. But you
Can I
didn't
ask a
go.
question, Donna? Is this you talking?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. Before you ask,
Have you read the document that we did our presentation with
no, I have not.
back in June
That was
17th?
sent-
Have you read this document?
No, I have not.
that
Okay.
was not, it's online. You've got it, Donna.
This was
I do.
presented back in June when we came to town. And if you look at our process, this is before before the investment group bought this building and leased it to Stone Path Malt.
Mhm.
This shows exactly what we wanted to do.
Mhm.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, so this is what was presented to the town. This was our utility matrix. It says exactly what we required to move to Wareham,
Okay, but
okay? And if you look at the information I sent, these are the BOD, COH, all of the research that we did and presented to the town in order for us to move here. And in June of 2017, we had this project under agreement and we had land under agreement. And it was represented to us that these were the utilities and the requirements we needed. And that's what we were told was available to us.
Who told you that? When I went to the meeting for the.
Guy, you
Was in
at
the
that
11th
meeting,
hour.
Guy,
Just so you
Guy,
know, I wasn't
Guy, at
involved.
that meeting, you had one question
Why
for
don't you
us.
just be quiet for a minute, Mark, because you dominate. So here's the deal. In the 11th hour, I met you at room, I believe it was 27 or 50, whatever it was, next to Derek's office, in the 11th hour. At that time, I asked the question about strength, and you said, oh, it's right there. I said, that's what they projected.
You asked about what?
Company New York with the exact system, they say the
You
number.
asked about what?
And I said to you, we want to know what your BOD and TS is coming out of your facility, not what you projected that everybody else is doing, what your facility is putting out, and that you would need to sample it. I don't care about what you project. It's what's reality. So I need the numbers.
And Guy, you know what? I can appreciate that because, quite frankly, this technology that we have sitting in our building here is the 6th installation in the world. It's brand new technology.
Well, there's one like yours.
And wait a minute, can I finish? I
Yeah,
let
yeah,
you finish.
Yeah, yes.
Let me finish.
Okay.
It's the 6th installation in the world of this technology. And you went right to the extreme of BOD numbers in a malt house in Europe that was millions of pounds of malt. And you know what? I don't blame you for that, because our engineering team did the same thing when, you know, they made us put in flow rates of 300 gallons per minute. I get it. Everyone went to the extreme. Well, we have real numbers now.
So let's get them. I just need them. What's
Well, you have them. You have our flow rates.
No, you got
You
the
have our
samples.
water usage.
That's fine. Just send me the samples. You got, as Jim said, you got the samples. Have it surveyed, have it analyzed, and send me the number. BOD, TS.
I already know. You know what? I know exactly what we're putting down. This
Simplify it and send
is
it.
not even close to what you think we're putting
It
down.
may be more
There's
than
no
you think.
solids.
And it may be more than you think, and neither one of us are going to know, Mark, until you test it.
Well, it's been tested.
All
I
right,
know.
so send me the numbers.
No, I was hoping that you had tested it by now
I know.
and had
My
numbers.
cost. I have to put pumps in that pump station to handle your flow at the town's cost. So you're looking for me to subsidize you all along the way. So all I'm saying to you is have it sampled, have it tested, send me the results, and we'll go from there.
Guy,
At the
do
same
you
time,
really think,
leak
do
the
you
form,
really think,
send you and send it back. And
Guy,
then-
do you really
all
think that our flow is affecting your pump station?
What your flow affects it because it's coming at one time. Remember, Mark.
How
when
do
I
you
said-
know that?
Hold on.
How do you
I
know
said in
that?
the very beginning that pump station was marginal before you tied in.
How do you know that?
Because I look, I
What
only go
data,
by-
what data do you have?
I'll show it to you. I have the pump
Verify
run
that.
times. I get pump run times every minute. So I see the peaks and that's it. So,
Hey, Guy,
yes.
Guy, didn't we end up doing the impact study he was supposed to do?
You never did impact study. We did it. Cost
We
me
did it. Did
20
we
grand
get,
to do an impact study for that facility.
did we
It
get
cost me
paid?
around 11 grand for pumps for that facility.
Did
So
we
that
get paid
means
to
that
do
the
it?
town
Have you
is
people read this
subsidizing that
agreement?
business.
Have you people read this? Well, it's not an agreement. Have
So
you
that was
read
your
this?
writing. That was what you proposed. I'll put this, I'll do it by hand. I'll have a manual valve.
No.
Here's what I'm going to
No.
do. Like everything, Mark, you put down what you're going to do, and we're supposed to buy what
This-
you're going to do
this
or what
is
you
what-
say.
We sent to you.
I read it. And I sent it back and
You
said, I
read
need
it.
an impact study. I need the flow analysis. How's it going to affect Kendrick? How's it going to affect Thatcher? How's it going to affect Springboard? What about the lines you're going to? How does that? And you just said, yeah, here's my letter. See it? Here's my letter. That's how you handle
This
it.
is what we said we were going to do based on the information you
Not to
gave
me.
us.
Not to the board. You send everything to the selectmen, you got approval, and you move forward.
I didn't send it to
Matter
the
of fact,
selectmen.
I don't know who you
sent it
sent
to
it
you,
to.
Guy. This
Well,
was the information you
Derek gave
requested.
it to me after the fact, way after the fact.
No, Guy.
Yes,
You-
yes, Mark.
You
Yes,
put
Mark.
you put your requirements on us after we spent millions of dollars on this facility.
Well, I didn't get involved until the 11th hour, Mark. That's not my fault.
You were in the first meeting.
I was not. I was in the
I did
last
not
meeting.
hear from you. It took us 4 months
I was in the last meeting.
from June to October to close on this building.
Mark, I was
did
at the
not
last
hear from
meeting.
you once.
When I mentioned in the beginning, you told me how much you enjoyed coming to Wareham because we had no regulations for sewer. Other communities, it would cost you a ton of money. That was my meeting with you.
Guy, this, let me show you. I'll
Okay.
show the board. See this?
No, I can't see that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't see it. What is it? I don't know what it is.
See it?
I cannot.
Other board members, can you see this?
What is it?
What is it?
Can you see the red handle?
I
Yes.
see the red
Yeah.
hand.
Yes.
Okay, we put a guy's request because he was concerned.
Well, show me I asked for a meter. I asked for a metered valve. You said, oh, ball valve works. I just know what I'm flowing. I asked for a metered valve. I want it metered so I can see gallons. You put that and said, that works. I know right here is 700 gallons. So Mark, you didn't give us what we wanted. You gave us what you wanted. And you justified it. Is that the
Can
meter?
the board see this?
I can see.
Yes.
This is a Siemens flow meter. Really expensive.
Good. That's what I asked for.
At Guy's request,
Absolutely.
we put in.
Well, Mark, you told me, I'll show you the writing, I keep letters, and you said you're putting a manual ball valve. That's what you told me. I kept it. So I'm glad you did that. I'm excited. I'm excited you did that. I appreciate that.
Everything
That's good
you
stuff.
asked me.
Can you change?
So,
Letter.
you know, it's unfortunate, but we did this on every discharge.
Well, you should. Well, you should.
Huh.
So we know because you have a wet well mark that's 1,200 gallons, and you can't just drop it to it.
So
That's why originally I said put a holding tank, and you said too expensive. But if you put a holding tank you can dump to, then you can bleed it into me.
Guy, why would I do a holding tank
Well,
when our flow rate
we call it.
less than 100 gallons per minute?
Well, we call it a equalizing.
Why would I do
basin,
that?
or an equalizer, what we call equalization. You're just doing a plug flow directly to us. We asked for equalizing, and you said too expensive. I said, okay, fine. I need a flow meter. We'll work with you. You do it slow, but Mark,
We presented this to you.
you know,
I had numerous questions
I was in an
from
office,
different board members,
and the
and
board
I heard
members.
nothing from
in the
you
11th
until we
hour.
were
Okay, guys. All
totally
right, guys.
pregnant.
All right, guys.
I had millions of
Put a hold
dollars
on
of
it.
investment,
Put a hold
and
on
you
it.
came
Put
to
a
me
hold
on
at the
it.
11th hour.
That's right. That's when I get presented. So it doesn't matter to me. When I get presented, I act upon it. If I
Steve,
done it,
where's the mute button?
absolutely.
All right. Well, look at, I wanted to come to this meeting with facts, and here are the facts. We requested 10,000 gallons per week. That was in our original document. The facts. We're doing 6,000 gallons per week, 856 gallons on average. Our flow rates are under 100 gallons per minute. For a building our size, the standard discharge for commercial buildings is $20 per foot.
Depends what's in the
That's
building.
600, wait a minute, let me finish.
We're a
We're
brewery
dealing
here,
with
the numbers don't
facts.
mean nothing.
We're dealing with facts.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so that's 20 gallons per square foot. That's 600,000 gallons. When we were in full operation in 2019, we discharged 350%. I just want to let you people know, we are way below our numbers.
Mark, it's the
Our-
concentration. What is the concentration? I don't care about the flow. What's in it? What's the concentration? So do the numbers. We'll go from there.
Okay, is that what you're really after? And if for 3 years, you didn't call me up and say, Mark,
I did.
can I
Mark,
test?
every time we met, it became confrontational because you would say, here's what I'm doing. And I says, no, it became a confrontational. I walk away many times, because you always tell me
Well,
what
at
you're
least you
going to do.
acknowledge that
Because
we've
you're a
had
graduate
you.
of this, you got this degree, and you're gonna tell me what you're going to do, not what I'm asking to do. So, Mark,
Okay,
that's
okay.
very
let's put-
like it
let's
is
put a
now.
hold on.
That's how everyone has been.
All
So,
right, so Guy, at least
Mark,
you've acknowledged that
Mark,
we've met many,
Mark,
many times.
Mark, hold
And can I
hold
just
it,
say
Mark.
one last thing?
yeah, it was a
Mark,
very
no.
The board,
hold it.
this board I met with over a year ago, just under a year ago, with Danny Warren and board members.
I don't remember the board.
And
I don't remember the meeting.
we went through in nauseam
I wasn't at the
exactly
meeting.
what we were doing, what was happening. And I think at the end of the day, if you talk to Danny, and I don't remember his exact words, but he's like, you are doing, Stone Path Malt is doing you a favor. What we're discharging, we are diluting what's coming into that pump station.
Mark, the bottom line, to move forward, we need testing done by you. Submit the numbers
I
to
have the
Guy.
tests. I have the tests. I'll be happy to send them to you.
Send it over.
I was hoping
Submit the
that Guy
numbers.
would have done the
Submit-
test so we
Submit
could
the,
compare
submit the
notes.
number.
I can't spend any more money on that project. I spent 28 grand. I can't spend more money on your business.
Guy, put a lid on it.
Okay.
Put a lid on it. All right.
You know, I just want to say.
Wait a minute,
you know,
Mark, put a lid on it. Put a lid on it.
Can I
Put
just
a lid
finish
on
this
it.
conversation?
No, put a lid on it right now.
I
All
can't,
right, put a
I
lid on
can't
it.
conclude.
Put a lid on it
All right.
right now. You say you've got the numbers, send them to Guy. He will do a test sample, get his own numbers and find out how they compare. You say you've got the meter in there right now, so we can check the flow and he can do that at whatever point in time.
We've done it.
Coordinate with you
He's
to
got
do
his
it.
test pit. He can
I'm
collect,
sorry.
he can do
just
the flow anytime
relax.
he wants.
I understand. And what I'm saying to you is you do a test, supply the stuff. If you say you already got the numbers,
I will
Supply 'em.
send him the results of our tests, both out of the steeper and out of the drum tomorrow.
And
okay.
what's
And those
And we'll-
results
and
will
we're-
show,
and then we'll go from there.
okay, fine.
Okay. All right. Mac,
Can I answer anyone else's? I'm sorry this got confrontational, but
Yeah.
It
you know,
sounds fair.
it's late, I'm tired. I'm trying to run a business here
you're not the only.
and it's difficult.
I
And to
understand.
have to redo this every single time, it's very, very frustrating.
I want to put a lid on this whole damn thing so it's over and done with, so everybody's satisfied. Then I think we're going in the right direction right now. Get the numbers out. We'll go from there.
Right, absolutely. I'm
Well-
glad, Mark, I'm glad you came to the meeting. Because
I am too.
this is the first time for me.
Me too. It's the first time
So
for me.
even though there's a perception that we've been through this, I have not, so.
I
That's
know,
right.
well, this is the
And
thing.
I've been on this board since day one.
There is a perception and I listened to the last board meeting and I was very upset that this board is assuming that, or taking the position that Stone Path Malt is not transparent. And I just want to say for the record, there is everything that we presented to the town and everyone was there. That information is still valid. In fact, our numbers are better and we continue to try and make them better. And look we love being in this town. And these are difficult times for everyone. And we're all on edge. But, you know, the fact is that, you know, I'm happy we came to this town. And I want to work with you. And I have every business in this town that can promote this town. And I promote this town. I do it as much as I can. And I assure you, our interests are aligned. Like I started this meeting. I don't want to blow up that pump station. That puts me out of business. I put all of the bells and whistles in that was asked of me to do it. And you know, I just hope we can get on better terms because at the end of the day, this has been a pretty good experience for working with the town of Wareham. And I want to continue that.
Right.
Okay,
Well,
and-
I just want to say one thing. the best way to get along, and I think we can, is to comply with what Guy needs. He's our guy with boots on the ground, number one. He's not happy, we're not happy. So let's work to correct it. Just let's comply, let's do our thing.
And I agree. I agree with you, Mac, 100%. And it's the first time I've been on the board since its inception as well. And it's the first time that I have had the opportunity to talk with you.
Same
And-
here.
And we're all, we on the board, we're all listening to a lot of things for the first time. So bear with us. I know you're
Okay.
tired. I know you're frustrated, but trust me, we are more than fair, and we're going to work with you as long as you work with Guy.
I'll be happy to do it.
Thank you for your
We
time.
ask.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Mark, thank you very much for coming tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm, like I said, I didn't even know I was even on the agenda until 3 weeks ago. So yeah, we can work through this. Trust me, what we're doing is not hurting the town.
I think it's
We're
right.
just not. So I'll be happy to send those results. and,
Appreciate it.
We can work together.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mona. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Okay,
I know.
right. Okay, moving forward. We're still on about halfway through here. National Water Main.
Yeah, I'm looking for the paperwork. National Water Main is interesting because they did the lining job. They did our job out on Mira Cove. They did those manholes. They also did some manholes for us out in Smiths Ave. Before this all started, they did some test work, and they said they would. In Hamilton Beach area, they did 400 feet of line. In that process, we not only did we gain the line, and it's a very leaky area, and we gained 400 feet of nice solid line. More importantly, when they did that, we found out that what was spec'd by the contractor originally was fiberglass reinforced lining, and it couldn't get through. It did not work. If they didn't take the time to do that, if they'd put that lining into C Street, would have had a catastrophe on our hand. So it behooved the town. We gained over and over and over again, and they're asking for $32,000 to be reimbursed for their time and their materials. That's it. There's no profit built in. For what we gained, just the lining that we got in the ground is well worth it. And so I can't authorize it because technically it's a change order. So I would like the board to weigh in on it and see if it's something that we should give them the $32,000 or not. So it's in the board's hands. So that's what that's on the agenda.
Okay, just for correction, it's 35,000.
I don't have, I'm looking for the,
Yeah,
when I
I've got
find the paper, I'll get it. I just trying to go off the top of my head because I'm looking for it. I apologize.
Can you see the paper? Can you see it if I hold it up?
No, I can't. I can't. But I'm going to trust that it's there.
Okay, it's 35,400 feet.
Whatever it was, Jim. I'm trying to, I've been
Yeah,
shuffling
not a
papers
problem.
here.
I've
And
got-
for
I've
some
got the
reason,
paper.
I
I've got it right here.
placed it. But that's,
That's what it was.
it was in the
Okay, do I-
packet, so.
Anybody have any comments on it? Pro,
No.
con?
No, the work is good, right, Guy?
It is. It is. It was done great. They did a great job on the work. And it was really an excellent job. They were reviewing all the tapes. Everything is good. We haven't authorized payment, so we do our final inspection. We're there. They've done a great job.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Well, make a motion that we accept the amendment and for the contract or whatever we have there and pay the bill.
Yeah, for 35,000.
Yeah, pay the bill.
Okay.
Second for discussion,
Go ahead.
where's the money coming from?
Coming from the crunch originally. Remember, we allocated 1.1 million and we spent 860,000. So it's coming out of that pot.
It's already appropriated.
It is.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 400. You got it, guy.
Oh, here it is.
Nice time. Good.
I stuck it in. Can you see it? I stuck it in my, I got it. I got it.
Hey, is Russ still hanging around?
I know he may be.
I've
Oh,
been
Russ!
listening. I've
There
been
he is.
listening all along.
Wake up, Russ.
Are you still awake?
There's no sleeping through that.
Well,
I've been
good
I've been
job.
on I've been on the hot seat a couple times. It's not fun. I'm just glad for once it wasn't me.
I was just wondering if you had anything to add to our fray on anything that's going on that we should be aware of.
Yeah, I can. I'll be brief on a few things. Just a general update with the projects. The basins are coming along nicely. They set the sumps.
Hey, that's my report. Hey, hey, hey.
Okay, I'll
We've
leave
We've
that to
listened to
Guy.
you. We've listened to the guy long enough. We'd
No,
rather
well-
hear from you.
That's fine.
Well, no, it's everything's coming along
Give Guy a
well.
break.
The project's going great. They just set the sumps. It's a real neat construction project. I think the liner is going to be going on next week. If you get a chance, swing by, check it out. It's really cool to watch them do it. At least if you're an engineer, you think it's really cool. Maybe you guys won't. Moving forward, the bigger SRF job, the $9 million that was through town meeting, we are feverishly working on design plans for the new D-Night filters, the odor control. We have to get a package at the DEP in February. It's got to go out to bid in the springtime. So as of end of June, there's going to be some large construction contracts coming in for $5, $6, $7 million, which is part of that $9 million SRF fund. We have a bunch of paperwork we need to do on our end, which we're doing. So that's all moving along very well. We've had a lot of good meetings with Guy, getting feedback on the design, just all the specifics that go into this. So that's going along good. If everybody remembers, we had a generator project a while back go out to bid.
How about the generator project?
Everybody forgets about the generators.
No.
Both contractors did agree to hold their contract price until a spring town meeting. I guess the funds had, because the project, the duration lasted a little longer. The funds weren't spent, so I guess they have to get reallocated. I don't know, guys, is that the right terminology at a town
Yes,
meeting?
at the end of the fiscal year, what we don't expend in capital goes back into retained earnings. So we got the bid, we're ready to go. The funds have been returned to retained earnings. So in the spring town meeting, we'll have to ask the town meeting to bring those funds back into the budget so you can get your project, we can start the project. That's correct.
And it was, so both contractors agreed to hold their price. We got some good prices for the generators, so we'll look to start that over the summertime. One point I was debating whether or not speaking up the discussion on Littleton Drive. I don't know if the board remembers, but about a year ago, maybe, we actually, it was a project for the town of Marion, looking at the flow analysis to tie Marion into Wareham sewers. And there's sewers we looked at to do that are pretty much the same sewers that Littleton Drive is going to be tying into. That's the 21-inch interceptor that goes to Kennedy, then goes to Narrows.
Now, remember, you're right, we'll look, yeah, because it goes to the interceptor that you looked at, which is a big, I'm not worried about the interceptor. I'm not worried about Kennedy.
Right. It's the gravity main on Swift Speech Road that we did not look at. So there's a piece there that would have to be looked at. But as far as the interceptor and the pump stations for 15,000 gallons, it wouldn't bother it, but we run into the same situation we did with Woodland Cove, where we have this issue at the plant, which is what the discussion was that they had. So long story short, that a lot of that information exists. And Guy, if the engineer, Mr. Clater from Horsley and Witten, reaches out to you, you may want to let him know that a lot of that information does exist when they do their impact study. So I'd be happy to.
Mark, Russ, we're going to do we've got a contract to do the entire town as
Correct.
far as modeling. So we'll model that anyways. You did the modeling for us. I think it was 20 grand to model for,
Correct.
For the others. That's 20 grand we spent for the impact study for the malt factory. So
Yep.
you've got it done. So we'll do the same thing for the new project, Littleton Drive.
We will.
We'll just do it. So we'll get all that done to make sure that there's no impact. And if there shows to be one, then we can address it and bring it to their attention.
Absolutely. And
We'll also do that too. Absolutely.
coincidentally, the Buzzards Bay Coalition also asked if we could model the Narrows side of town, is what I call it, kind of the whole service area that feeds the Narrows.
And that's
So-
part of it.
That's part of it. So we'll make that a priority area, and we'll get going with that. We'll probably have results of that in 4 to 5 months. So we'll know that well before the Littleton Cove project. So I think, and we have the plant evaluation too that we're working on, that we're just about to being able to wrap up, which is going through all the processes. That's what project drove the flow report that we did, but we're also looking at the different processes throughout the treatment facility. So that's also being wrapped up. So we've got a lot going on. Everything's heading in the right direction. I will take any questions if anyone's got anything for me.
What are we doing on the groundwater discharge?
Groundwater, that's the one I forgot. So we're going to get you, we're done with the first part, which is a desktop evaluation, which looks at physical sites. So for what we are looking to do, again, because and I can give you a little bit of what's going on. Plant discharges permits 1.56 million. Technically, the plant can treat up to 2 million. There's a difference there, 440,000 gallons. So we're trying to find a site that can do 440,000 for the immediate near term, but then also find a site that's big enough for future needs, whether it's 3 million, 3.5, whatever the town may need 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Within a vicinity of 3 miles of the plant, there was really only 2 sites that looked good. One of it is what I'm calling the police station parcel. That's where the search committee was. I understand they're no longer looking at that site.
Right.
But the site across Minot Road, about 25 acres. And then the other favorable site is actually right on the treatment plant grounds. The only thing with the site on the treatment plant grounds, when you factor in all the resource areas and wetland areas because of the riverfront and everything, you only have enough size on the treatment plant grounds to do the 440,000 gallon beds. If you're going to need more than 440,000, you'd have to look at the parcel off Minot Road. And there's really no other close parcels within 3 miles. Now, stick with me on this. If we put those there, we did the modeling, the particle track modeling all around town. The nitrogen still ends up going into the Agawam River. But we had to go through this exercise. So the question then becomes, well, why are we building these things if the nitrogen is just going right back in the Agawam River? Why can't we increase our discharge? So we needed to go through this desktop analysis to confirm that these are the only 2 sites, that this is where the nitrogen goes. It does indeed go back to the Agawam. So that's going to spawn conversations with DEP and EPA about if we can modify the existing permit, which would really be the most expeditious way to increase your discharge, which is what your bottleneck is now.
And Russ, we have spoken with them and they don't seem to have any issues with what we're trying to accomplish. So we're really excited about the fact that we will probably get in the near future the ability to increase our flow to the river from 1.56 to 2.0 MGD. And they're very favorable. We talked to EPA and the DEP about our plans to do that. So it's very favorable. I'm realistic that within a couple of years, we'll have that flow.
Yeah. And that
With
would...
With our plant right at the moment, excuse me, but the plant infrastructure at the moment, is that capable of doing the 2.0 that it's supposedly rated at?
It's designed for 2 MGD. Now, there's some issues. The clarifiers are too small. I mean, we have a tendency, not just where.
In other words, to get to the 2.0 MGD, we're going to have to upgrade some of the plant.
Yes, maybe, maybe not. Some of it, yes, we'll have to repair. We may need to clarify, but yes, we can get to the 2.0 MG reasonably amount. Also, to be real, to get beyond that, I talked to Mark, we're looking at some type of, if you will, loading increased capacity by putting in some floaters inside of aeration basins. We're looking at that also. But more importantly, the plant as it is designed to do 2.0 MGD. And if we get the permission to do that, then we can get 2.0 MGD to the river. That gives us 400,000 gallons, which gives us that much more capacity. So when we get the evaluation done, all the pieces that I'm not aware of, and Russ gets done that complete, you see that report, you'll have more definitive answers as to what we need to do, if anything at all.
This is what we need to have before we can make really a realistic value determination on what we're going to have available for Littleton project or any of the other projects that are online.
Absolutely. Remember, Russ is going to present to us again in July, Mr. Chairman, of these facts, and then we can go on from there. He may say, do this and come back another year, whatever, but we're going to get the recommendation of our engineering firm as to how we need to proceed when it comes to allocating these gallons.
Yeah. But we need that information before we can go forward.
Absolutely. We can't give a gallon away because of the moratorium until we get these hard answers. It's just, that's pretty straightforward. We're not anti-business. We'd love to see the growth. We're for it.
I know that. And the only other option we have is to have some of these people come in and say, you can have your gallons back that have been committed to us.
I'd like to find a way, because when the guy was calling about the 2012 command, I said, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Well, the board, and that was the select board. It wasn't us. They said, yeah, but they gave it to us. Are you serious? 2012, and now you want to go forward with this project?
Right,
it's like
Jimmy?
me.
Right,
Oh.
Jimmy?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's insane. It's insane. But anyways,
Bad business, bad business.
Russ, thank you for your input.
I think Sandy has a hand up. I don't know if she's waving to us or she's got a
No.
question.
I can't see it, so I'm
I
sorry.
can remember not too long ago, the Board of Selectmen gave that piece of land off Minot Ave for consideration for the police station.
Yeah,
By them doing that, does it mean we can't put our outfall there?
but I understand the police station is no longer interested in that, or the people that are doing the.
No, but that's not, may or may not be, but I thought the selectmen said it was theirs to use until the selectmen say, if you don't need it, then it's free to be used by anybody. Did I misunderstand, Jim? Jim Eunice is on the line. Alan's next to me. Did I misunderstand that commitment that selectmen did to the police station?
Hold on here. Well, Sandy, that kind of went back and forth. I mean, Mrs. Slavin. Hello, everybody. But it wasn't taken off the table, but I don't think it was the most favorably looked upon. I think the only thing we took off the table was DECUS at that time.
Okay.
So, it's still in flux for everybody. I mean, you can consider it. I just heard Mr. Kleekamp, I guess it was, saying that it didn't make a difference whether you discharged surficial or underground, you still put the same amount of nitrogen into
Yes, he did. Yeah.
water body. So, that's you have to deal with that. Whatever
you.
you want to do, bring it forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Russ, again, thank you very much for
All right,
participating.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna sign off, but you know how to find me if you have any questions.
See
Go
ya.
ahead.
See you,
You're
Russ.
gonna
Take
leave
care.
all this fun.
Thank you, Russ.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Russ. Hey, Russ, is
Unfortunately, yes, sir.
there anything left on my list, because you took everything else, is Kleinfelder of that pipeline, if you want to listen to that.
Yeah, you
But
wanna
that's all
talk
I
about
got.
Oh yeah, let me
Everything
stick
else
around for
is
that.
gone,
I would
so
like to hear
I'll
that
throw out
actually.
there.
Yep.
Well,
Nope. Thank you. I would like to hear that.
Oh, Russ, I thought you were gonna talk about it.
I'm sorry.
I'll leave that to Guy. I don't have the facts.
Yeah.
My days of making stuff up as I go along have since left me. I've gotten
okay.
smarter in my career.
Oh, that's crazy.
Okay, Guy, you're on stage.
And again, Russ took on my thunder. Now, I'm not complaining, and I'm sure the board's not complaining, but it's okay. But so I'm going to bring up, we had Kleinfelder. If you remember, we hired them to look at getting from the plant directional drilling to the Cape Cod Canal. I had a booklet, looks like this.
I've got it.
We got a copy, so we got the plant, and it talks in page 16 to 20 talks about this company doing a 9,000-foot directional drill. So it's incredible, and where technology has come with directional drilling. So they did a walkthrough of the town of Wareham, and they looked at 3 locations, or 3 routes, if you will. One was down Onset Avenue, and coming out up by the golf course under the bay, come up at Mass Maritime. One was the rail itself, going under the rail, and following that route and come up wherever they need to complete the drill. And
What kind of a depth would that be?
I'm sorry?
What kind of a depth would that be if they're going under the rail?
60 to 100 feet. So at those depths,
Yeah, that would
it wouldn't alter the track at all. because the railroad was concerned about us digging with pipe
Right. Right.
in the influence area of influence, and that would jeopardize the tracks.
Right.
They'll be drilling 60 to 100 feet in bedrock, and that would, in the calculations and the math, there'd be no movement. So the rail wouldn't have an issue because that's their concern. And they also looked at Route 6 and 28. They're leaning towards 6 and 28 because they can go less depth. Instead of going 60 to 100 feet, maybe they can go 30 to 40 feet and go under all utilities and then come up somewhere on 6 and 28, then go back under, maybe come up a second time and then go under the bay and come up into Mass Maritime. So they're looking at that. So that may be 3 poles opposed to 1 or 2. So they're looking at that. They believe 6 and 28 is the most favorable, has the most land to come up with. There's a motel that's vacant. They can come up there. So there's more areas that come up because when they drill, and that's why I wanted you to read the article, they drill down, they come in, but they have to come up and then go back under and drill, and then they make the connection here. And they do that a couple times, and then they bring it up into the Mass Maritime. And they think that's going to be the most feasible, probably the least expensive because of depth, and they believe that's the most favorable. So we will have a full report in March on what their findings are and how we move forward. We'll look at the cost. They're going to tell us what the exact cost to do that would be, and we'll have all those hard numbers. And they say once we give them the go, it's about 14 months before the job's completed. So it's reasonable in a few years, 2 years, 3 the most, that we could be at the Cape Cod Canal with the pipe. The issue is going to be financing, and we'll look at that. But that's where they are right now, and it's been amazing. They've done the geology. They've had the geotech engineer out there, and what surprised me was when you get in Onset, other side of South Water and Point Independence, it's one big brick, if you will. We can't directional drill. It's just one big massive till. When the till, I guess they call it glacial till, came in, it left a huge ledge there. And that little piece, if we went down Onset Avenue, would have to open cut because we couldn't drill at any depth there. And I found that extremely interesting. I didn't know that was the case in that area. So they've done quite a bit of work to try to locate not only where they want to go, but what the hurdles are. And they'll try to eliminate these hurdles because each hurdle has a cost. And so that's
yeah. No, I understand that. It's interesting that they're going down looking at 6 and 28.
It is. It is because they're going to go under everything. So the construction has no bearing on us. And when they come up, it's not going to affect the construction. So they can do all they want. There's no 5-year moratorium that's going to affect us whatsoever. So we can do it immediately. We don't have to wait 5 years because we're going to go under everything.
Beautiful.
It's interesting. This whole process is interesting. Yeah, so when we get the actual report, we'll look at it and we can see what's feasible. I mean, it's going to come like anything else. It's all about the money, but it's very doable. I'm encouraged with the encouragement that they're finding and what they think. And so, yeah, it'll get there. It'll get there quicker.
Well, the money aspect isn't a problem because Andy and Alan are going to loan it to us.
Well, so we're good. And I will give them favorable rates.
Yeah, I thought so.
We'll give them favorable rates.
Yeah. 1.5%. Yeah.
Well, I don't buy scrap, but I may buy one of those tickets this week because I think one of them's up to a lot of money. Maybe I'll finance it. Maybe I'll play and win and I'll finance it. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'm excited again because I think the time frame for me shrinks. Because the other ways we were going was going to be a major, major hurdle, a lot of time. And everybody's been saying you can't go under the bridge. They did the borings and when they did their borings, it's because they were pushing piles down. And it's very difficult to push piles down. When you're directional drilling through this, it's a lot easier. So it makes it more doable. So directional drilling opens doors that you can't get any other way. So I found that extremely interesting.
But, and also what you're telling me is that they can go down deeper anyhow and get below any of the.
Absolutely. and they can get rid of any concerns that the Corps of Engineers may have where the waters are navigable, how to impact that. We were well below it. So it makes it more doable too. So it was really a good meeting. The kickoff meeting was fantastic. The walkthrough was fantastic. They're really on top of it, and they do a lot of directional drilling throughout the world, and they do some great depths, and they do some distance. They set the record of 9,000 something hundred feet. They set the record of directional drill. That's powerful stuff. I'm really excited about it.
Incredible.
It is.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it. Russ took all my other stuff.
Russ, thank you. Oh, you're already gone.
Thank you, Russ.
I'm here. I'm
Oh, okay.
listening.
Thank you, Russ.
All right. Yeah, everybody have a good night. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks again, Russ.
Good night.
Okay, then we go down to unfinished. Some pumps, it's still the same situation. Did we connect any more homes lately to the sewer? I've got the list.
I don't know. 35
Picked up any-
SIPA cans committed to tie in.
Oh.
So that's a good one. We've had a couple, Jim. I don't have in front of me, but we did the Frank's Way. Some lady bought that property. She tied it in. I'm finding the properties that some of them, the investors or people buying them, that's part of their deal when they close. They're tying in. It's really good. It's good stuff.
So we're at least that's moving along well.
It is. We're making progress. People are tying in. Absolutely.
Guy,
Yes.
I just went online and you have a unknown next to an address at 203 Sandwich Road. I just went to the assessor's database and there was a name and an address.
Well, I got that from the Board of Health. I'll find out.
Okay, because some of these things that are not picked up, is there any chance we can put a constable to deliver the letter?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, can we be more aggressive about getting these things done? The idea is that
listen.
undeliverable.
Can't we all just get along? We just went through a major aggressive time. Can we just relax and get along for a while? No more aggression. Let's put aggression aside.
Hit the cat. Pat the
Oh, the
cat.
cat's mellow. Let's take the lead from the cat. Let's get mellow. We can find other ways to get these things delivered. I'll look more into it. Constable, I guess they do this stuff. I don't know what the fees are. We can look at that to get it in hands, but we'll do our very best. I mean, I talk to people. Here's the irony. I talked to someone and they got the letter finally when they sold. We had sent 4 before. They said they never got, and the addresses were exactly the same. So I don't know, Sandy, I don't, but we'll work towards it. We'll definitely work to get everybody tied in.
But the list of not done is certainly lower than it was a couple of years ago.
We're moving
Thank you for
along.
the-
Bravo.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
we're moving along. It's encouraging. It's encouraging.
As long as we're still moving forward, that's all I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
We're making, we're making
We are moving
progress.
forward. We are moving forward.
Any new business? I think we've had enough.
No, we've had enough.
Nothing's
We
new.
have.
Jimmy.
I have
Not
no,
yet?
I have
Oh,
no,
go ahead,
business.
Donna.
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we adjourn?
No.
No,
That's not new.
I want to say one more thing, Donna.
Okay.
If we can at all avoid it, I don't want to hear about any more requests till after July.
Well, we have to get them in for the queue.
Can do
Just
that.
file them. When people ask me, I'll say we're
They
not.
don't need to come to us for that, guy.
No, I said, well, here's my plan.
Fill
When they
out the
come to me,
permit.
I'll say, I'll take it, but it's not going to be submitted till July 1.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
it. Yes,
if that's our stance,
that's
then,
it.
and it's a slippery slope, like you said.
I don't want to go down it. Once we go,
I
we're
don't
done.
want anybody thinking they going to get preferential treatment, so.
Absolutely.
The only thing on that guy is when you do get requests and when you stick them in the queue, just let us know that XYZ is in the queue and
Well, I'll present it
That'd
to
be added.
meetings.
That's
I
in your-
can email you all,
You can
but in
just-
meetings, I'll say this is in the queue.
yeah, I was gonna say, you can just present that in your report.
Don't
So
you
that
think
we're-
that's something that we should have an updated list that? we-
List, exactly,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
exactly.
Correct, so we
On
know
what-
what we're looking at.
And when they went into the queue.
I'm not saying we're gonna put our heads in the sand. I'm saying we'll deal with it when the time is right.
Yeah, you
We made a decision because of the issues we're having, and we're going to follow that decision.
Yeah, we can't do anything about it right now anyway, so the only
No.
thing we can do is take them in the queue and take them in an order and find out what they are.
No,
Exactly, we have to document where they fall in line.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the only fair thing to do.
Exactly.
It's all we can do right now.
Yes.
Okay, our next meeting, the 28th. Everybody make sure their computer's working well.
Oh, Jesus.
I heard you.
Donna, where are you when I
That
need
is
you?
5 o'clock. No, I'm just kidding.
Donna, where are you?
I'm still here.
Go ahead,
Well-
Donna, you're on, you're up.
Well,
Listen, I make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it. All in favor?
I.
Aye.
Thank
night.
you all very much.
Everybody have a
night.
good night. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
8:39.
All
Good
right.
night.
Be safe.